Hey friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and welcome back to another thrifty video. Today's video is a what sold last month video. So we're gonna take a look back at July of 2025, and I'm gonna run you guys through how much I sold during the month as a part-time reseller. I resell clothing mostly on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Depop. Those are my main platforms. I've also sold on Whatnot. I have sold pretty much anywhere you can sell, and those are kind of the platforms I'm on currently. So in July, my biggest selling platform was Poshmark, followed very closely by eBay, and then Depop, and then Mercari. And so those are the four platforms I sold on this last month, but I had some pretty good sales. So we're gonna cover things that sold for $50 or more. And it's notorious in the reselling community that during the summer, there's usually a summer slowdown is what we call it, us resellers. And so a lot of people see their sales really take a hit in the summertime. A lot of people are not buying as much clothing as normal during the summer. The things that they're buying are usually cheaper items because the things that sell for the most money are more substantial pieces like coats or pants. And in the summer, you're buying like tank tops and shorts. And so we see this downtick every year. So if your sales also are down, then hopefully that's a little bit of encouragement for you. My sales were down this month as well. I usually sell around $3,000 a month. This month I was down to like $2,500-ish dollars. So I saw a substantial decrease. But as we're heading into the fall, we should see sales start picking up again. So now's the time that we really should plug in and start listing, especially listing things for fall, for back to school, that kind of stuff. So hopefully things will start looking up here in a second. But let's start off with some of these sales, shall we? So something that I sold a lot of this last month are swimsuits. I found at a garage sale, I think about 6 different somersault swimsuits, and they all have one shoulder, really cute swimsuits, really popular style from this brand. And I bought them all for $5 at this garage sale, and I sold every single one this month. So I listed them and they all sold within like a week. So they went really quickly, and that's really good to know if you guys happen upon these swimsuits. They are great sellers and they will move quickly. At least right now for me in July, they moved really quickly for the summertime. So most of them I listed at $50, and then I accepted like $35 to $40 offers for all of them. And so they didn't really make the list, except for this piece I sold on eBay outright for $49.99. So it was the Blue Mountain Sky and White sand, that color scheme for the one piece. They were all the exact same style, but this swimsuit sold for $50. So if I were to find that again, I would definitely pick it up. From $49.99, we made $44.28, and with my cost of goods, that's $39 of net profit. Next up, another big sale was this St. John vintage duffel bag, this black solid crossbody designer weekend bag. I found this in the Goodwill outlet. I paid $1.50 for it, and it sold for $58. So from $58, we made $46.40, which means we had about $45 of net profit. Anything I find in the Goodwill outlet, I'm always very happy with. I love the Goodwill outlet. I love to be able to buy things super cheap and to be able to have that huge profit margin. That makes my little thrifting heart happy. And so I want to keep on really utilizing the Goodwill outlet because I do find amazing things in it. It does require a lot more digging, but I like that. I like that thrill of the hunt, and so that's definitely up my alley. But now, before we jump into the next sale, I do want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Vendoo. Vendoo is an amazing cross-listing software that can really elevate your business and take it to the next level. I know I used to struggle with cross-listing items. I was only selling on Poshmark, and now, as you guys heard at the beginning of this video, I sell on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Depop, and every month eBay, I'm selling at least around $1,000 on there, if not more, and that is just profit I was leaving on the table before when I was only selling on Poshmark. So because I've branched out to all these different platforms, I've been making a lot more money. I've been finding that some things sell particularly well on one platform over another. And so it's been really helpful for me in my business, and it's been super simple using Vendoo, where I can just upload all the pictures I've taken of my items straight into Vendoo. I can white out the background, and then I list with just a few clicks of a button on all of my different sites. And then if something sells on one of my sites, Vendoo will automatically detect that sale and delist it from all the other sites that it's listed on, which I think is just so extremely helpful. Well worth a small investment into your business per month. And if you guys use my link down below, then you'll get 25% off of your first month using Vendoo. You don't have to put anything in to try it. You can just try it, see if it works for you, and then you can use it to make your business even that much better. So Again, if you guys are interested in trying Vendoo, follow my link down below, and thank you again to them for working with me on today's video. But the next piece that I sold was this Chloe vintage gray and pink window pane skirt. I've had this piece for quite a while. I believe that I bought this when we were living in Maryland, and so I've had this for at least 3 years, but it sold for $58. And that means we made $46.40 after the platform took their fees. I believe I paid $5 for this skirt, so that's about $41 of net profit, which is really good. And I was doing some experimenting when I was listing this piece because its title's name was Chloe vintage gray and pink window pane skirt, which I've seen other people do that, and so I think I was just testing out something. I don't do that anymore, so it definitely is an older piece for sure. Then the next sale was this Tadashi Shoji 100% silk pleated chiffon evening gown, and it was in this champagne color. I bought this at my local Goodwill, and it was $7.99, and I sold it for $60. And so from $60, we made $48. So $40 net profit, a lot of $40 net profits going through here. And then we had this Neely low tan Jenna pant in the desert sand khaki pants, size 2. These were originally $325. I found these not too long ago with you guys at my local Goodwill. I paid $4.50 for these, and they sold for $70. So from that, we make $63.25, so right around $59 of net profit. And I think this is the first Neely low tan I've ever found. Like, it's one of those brands that's always been on my like bucket list, on my brands lists, and I've never found it except for, you know, like the Neely low tan for Target collab. So it meant a lot, and it was super exciting to find that in the thrift store. That was great. Then we have this Tarani Couture size 4 bubble hem asymmetric bodice formal mini dress. And this is so cute. I love the bubble hem. That is so cute. I love anything that's formal that has a bubble hem. And because of that, I picked it up. It did have a little bit of like pulling on some of the flowers on this, but I still thought it was worth it. But this sold on Mercari. So this was my biggest sale on Mercari this month, and it sold for $79.99. I paid $7.99 for it. So literally 10xing my money on that. But after fees, I made $71.15. So $54 of net profit. That was a really cute piece, and I definitely picked that up sort of based off of style. It also is a nice brand. It is definitely more like for formal events, and I love to sell formal dresses, and so it really stood out to me and is beautiful. And then we have the Oscar de la Renta vintage 2-piece 100% silk embroidered floral sweater set. I picked that up, and I've talked about this sweater set I feel like a few times this month with you guys, but I picked this sweater set up from my local Goodwill on the same day that I found like 6 different Brooks Brothers suits and this Lafayette 148 set and this amazing Tadashi Shoji set. Like, this person cleaned out their closet, and all of the pieces just were so good. This piece sold this month for $110 on eBay, and from that we made $91.08. I paid $7.99 for the set, so I made $83 of net profit, factoring in my cost of goods. So that was an amazing sale, and it's just one of those things where I was like, it's not necessarily because it's Oscar de la Renta that I think this is gonna sell well or that it's silk, but I just thought that together the pieces were so cute and so unique. So I'm really glad that I did pick that up. And then I have a few Coach pieces that sold this month. And actually, I sold 3 different Coach pieces on Depop this month, all vintage Coach. So I definitely have been learning that my bags can do really well on Depop, and all of them sold for pretty good money and very quickly. Like, I had a lot of interest in them, and then they just went. This one is something that I thought I was gonna list around $50, but then after looking at comps, I really was like, oh, I think this will sell for a lot more than I thought. And you guys said that too on this video, but it was this Coach Y2K classic signature Soho shoulder bag with a big buckle and braided leather, and it sold for $115 on Depop, which is so funny because I also was just watching it in Alexa Sunshine 83 video, and she was talking about how she really wants this exact bag that I just sold in a different color, but I was like, okay, so it is like this popular bag, and it sold for $115. From Depop, we made $110.37. I got this bag at a garage sale for $15. So I made $95 of profit on that. So that was chef's kiss. That was a great sale. I love that. And then I do have 2 sales that are kind of in one. And again, I've talked about this in a recent video, but I sold 2 different sets of these glasses. So I found 7 of these Lauren Ralph Lauren lead crystal Glen plaid highball glasses, and I bought them all at this Goodwill for 99 cents a piece. Doing the research, I realized that they were worth good money, and I listed them in sets of 2 to make it easier for shipping, and each set of 2 I listed at $99.99. They all sold outright for that $100 amount, and this is my last 2 sets. So I have 1 single glass left. I haven't listed it. I don't know how I might just do it a single glass, but I sold 2 different sets. So I sold 4 glasses this month, and altogether then that's $199.98 from 4 glasses. So $4 into it, and I sold it all for $199. So from that we made $163, so that means $159 of profit. So in total, I mean, I've sold about $300 of glasses that I spent $6 on. So that feels like a great sale. Those are great sales in my opinion. So those sold for $100 each. And then we have another Coach piece. And this one is one that I found when I actually also found that real gold necklace, which I have no idea what to do with. I really need to get it graded or something. Like I have to do something with that necklace. I don't know what to do with it. But I found this in the same video that I found that and all those other amazing bags. It was this vintage Coach dark brown leather weekender large messenger bag. I sold this on Poshmark, which I wasn't expecting it to sell on Poshmark. I was thinking eBay or Depop, but it sold on an offer on Poshmark. They offered me $150, which I felt like was a great deal for both of us. I paid $25 for this, sold for $150. I make $120, so $95 of net profit on that piece as well. But my best sale of the month, which was actually the same sales price as that last piece, was this New Attacks Christopher Kane black silk love heart print shirt dress in a size 12, and this also sold for $150. This piece I paid a little bit less for. I think I paid $20 for this back in Maryland. I bought this at 2nd Avenue, and then this sold for $150. I made $128.79 after eBay took its fees, which means I made $108 of net profit. So some of these sales had a ton of profit tied to them. 2 of my 2 best sales, I paid around $20 for those pieces, but I was able to make almost $100 still of profit. So it was definitely worth paying up for them. And that's really the kind of the tightrope you walk as a reseller, is how much can I pay up for these items before it becomes too much and I won't make it back in that sale. And so it's always a very tricky situation. I struggle with that too. Even though I've been doing this for 5 years now, it's always a hard thing that I'm always juggling, like, ooh, is it worth it? Should I buy this for $7 if I can only sell it for $20? And that's just kind of the thing you have to learn about your own business. Is gonna change for each person. What you want to make from each item changes depending on who you are. And so for me, I'm always trying to get fewer sales for higher amounts, but maybe having a larger, like a mass sale kind of scheme is better for you if you can only find things that are worth less, but you can sell more of them. Maybe that will work better for you. And it's just something you have to kind of feel out and take into account for yourself and what you can find in the area you live in. But those are my best sales from July 2025. I would love to hear your best sale down below. Let me know what you guys sold this month. That was exciting. I love to read through your guys' sales. It's always a blast. And again, if you haven't tried out Vendoo, I would highly recommend it. And make sure you follow my link down below when you do that, and you'll get 25% off of your first month. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until the next video, bye.